Hi friends, welcome back to the Moss and Mirth channel. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie and this is where I share my passion for nature, creativity, and self-love. In light of the fall season, I wanted to share a couple of pumpkin DIYs with you guys. So the first one we have is going to be a DIY garland with little pumpkins made out of yarn. You could easily use scrap yarn for this project. You can get really creative with the type of fiber you use. And in the second part of this video, we will be doing a macrame pumpkin cover. I think this turned out absolutely adorable. It looks like a little lace doily just placed over the top of the pumpkin with these tassels that go down the sides. I just think it turned out so great and so cute for the fall. All right, I hope you get a chance to brew yourself something warm to drink and get settled in as we start a couple pumpkin inspired fall projects. The first project we'll be doing is this DIY yarn pumpkin garland. The materials you will need for this project are a ruler, some pipe cleaners, some basic twine or other string, your scissors, and an assortment of yarn scraps or various colors that go together for your yarn pumpkins. The garland I will be creating today is 12 feet in length, so I began with one 12-foot piece of twine. You can obviously modify this and add or remove twine as you need, and also the amount of pumpkins. Here in a second, we'll get to that. I decided to leave about 10 inches of twine at the tail of each end of my garland. To make a yarn pumpkin, simply press one end or one tail of the yarn into the palm of your hand across your 4 fingers, and then start to wrap the yarn round and round until you've used almost all of the yarn up. And then you can either cut separate pieces in the beginning or do what I did and just cut a small piece of twine or yarn when you get to the end of wrapping your little pumpkin. And then you're going to use that to tie your pumpkin together. Take that small piece of yarn about 6 inches in length and press it up through your fingers, and then tie the little yarn bundle, all of it, all the way around the back of your fingers to the front. And you'll just tie that with a standard shoe tying knot. Now take a small piece of pipe cleaner, maybe 3 or 4 inches, and set that across your pumpkin and use the tails of that scrap piece of yarn to tie the pipe cleaner onto the top of your pumpkin. Now that your pipe cleaner is attached, you can go ahead and trim up the ends of yarn from that tail, from the tails of that scrap piece, and you can tuck anything into the sides, any little loose ends, you can tuck them in and shape the pumpkin the way you want. Now you're going to use your pipe cleaner to attach your pumpkin to the twine. I did this by just looping the pipe cleaner around, bending it as I need to, and then doing maybe a couple of twists. And then I thought it would look really cute if I curled the ends of the pipe cleaner to make it look kind of viney and more natural. I just grabbed a pin right out of my desk, but use whatever small cylindrical object you have to wrap your pipe cleaner around to give it that twisted effect. Now you'll just continue to make pumpkins, and you can alternate colors and the different types of yarn, or, get as creative as you want with this step. I wanted to place my pumpkins about 6 inches apart along the twine, and like I said earlier, I wanted to have 12 pumpkins in total. So I just created all my pumpkins one at a time and then attached them each as I went. Now let's just cue the music and let the pumpkin montage begin. Once you've attached all your pumpkins, you can trim any excess twine at the ends to even it up, and you're done. Go ahead and hang it wherever it'll look festive and cute in your home. I played around with the placement of this because it was just so cute. I had to position it in a few different places in our tiny little Airstream home. So here's some shots of it above my desk. And then I ultimately decided to leave it placed above our bed for the season, or for a little while at least. I think it looks so cute back above our bed, and oh, look at Smudge. Doesn't she just look so cozy? On to project number 2, our macrame pumpkin cover. For this macrame project, you will need a ruler, scissors, a hair twisty, some macrame cord. I will be using 4mm single strand cotton cord, and a large, maybe medium to large sized pumpkin. Anyway, begin by measuring the widest part of your pumpkin. In my case, my pumpkin was fairly round, so either direction I measured it would have been fairly equal. And then whatever that measurement is, you're gonna double that amount for each piece of cotton cord that you're going to cut. I recommend starting by cutting a few pieces of cotton rope and then attaching them as you go to your hair twisty. You're going to attach them to the hair twisty using a lark's head knot, or you simply find the center of your cord, making a loop, and then you're going to take that through the hair twisty and then pull the 2 ends through that loop, creating a lark's head knot. And another option, if you don't have a little hair twisty, is to just cut an extra piece of your macrame cord. The twisty is nice because it makes it stretchy, so you can kind of fit it on other items. I wanted to make this something that you could use on other things in your home besides just a pumpkin. It's it's so cute, and you'll put a little effort in, so it'd be nice to be able to display it all year round. So the idea with the hair twisty is that you could put it around the neck of a bottle, maybe a wine bottle or something like that, a mason jar. It would look really cute on that. So just some options on other ways you could display this in your home outside of the fall season. Once your hair twisty or extra piece of cord, whatever you're using, gets pretty full, I would go ahead and count the number of cords you have on it and try and round it to an even number. It just helps you create the pattern. In my case, I had 18 pieces of rope attached, and it ended up working perfectly for the pattern I wanted to get. So if you can try and squeeze 18 pieces on, I recommend doing that. After sectioning off your rope into groups of 3 lark's head knots or 6 strands total, you're going to start making a double half hitch knot in the following manner. Taking your second strand, so leaving the far left in a group of 6, you're going to create a V shape using the double half hitch knot. So take your next rope in sequence, and you're going to take it over your main lead strand and then through the loop that's created by crossing those 2 over. And then you're going to pull that tight and manipulate it as you need. Now, because this is a double half hitch, you're going to repeat that again using that same piece of rope you were working with before. Now taking the second strand from the right side, so leaving the far right strand alone, you're going to do a double half hitch from that direction. Now, once you get to the center, you're going to do this double half hitch by taking your left lead strand and using that as your lead strand again, and taking your right lead strand and using that one to tie your double half hitch around the other lead strand. I hope that makes sense, but visually you should be able to see what I'm talking about. Okay, now you're going to make a second row of double half hitches starting on the right side this time. So you'll use that far right piece of rope from that group of 6 as your lead rope and begin creating your V of knots down. Once you get to the center, you're going to do the opposite of what you did above it. So the right side is going to have a third knot, evening out the row above where the left side had the row of extras, if that makes sense. I'm so horrible explaining this. Okay, let's watch how to do that one more time. Start with your first row of double half hitches and create a second V just below that. Okay, now you're going to repeat those double half hitches all the way around your pumpkin until you have all sets of the double rows of double half hitch knots completed. Now that all those double half hitches are done, we're going to start gathering all those together using square knots. To do a square knot, take one of your outer ropes and cross it over your 2 inner ropes, and then take the opposite outer rope and loop it over your crossed over rope and then under and through the other side. Then you're going to repeat that but mirrored, starting with the right side. Now repeat those square knots all across your pumpkin cover. And now we're going to do another row of square knots a little bit lower from the line that we just created with that other row of square knots. And this time we're going to use the 2 center strands, well, really the 4 center strands of each of those sets of V's that we did with the double half hitch knots. Knot tying is a lot of manipulation. You never want to tug, and you know, it's a lot of kind of small moving and adjusting things as you go. So just remember that. Be delicate. And again, you'll just repeat that all the way around the pumpkin. Okay, now we're going to do one more set of square knots all the way around, and we're going to do them below the square knot that we just created on each of those little sections. But this time you're going to use 4 strands of rope for the center of your square knot, and it'll utilize 6 strands in total. So this square knot ends up being a little bit wider than the one above it. And of course, you'll repeat that all the way around. And here's what you end up with. You're almost done. Now we're going to take each of these little tails and we're going to make a little tassel. So to do that, you're first going to remove the pumpkin cover off of your pumpkin and trim up the ends of your tassels to your liking. Now using a comb or maybe a pet brush, if you have a dog or a cat, you might want to clean out the hair first, but it's a great tool to use for this. So you're going to brush out each of your tassels. It takes a little bit of time, just work, you know, starting at the bottom like you would brushing your hair, and then work up the tassel to free up all the pieces of rope. And then you may want to trim up the ends one more time just to clean it up a bit. It would also look really cute if you were to angle your cuts. So to give it a V shape, following those V's up above in the double half hitches, that would be another great option. So just, you know, follow your desire here. Once you have it trimmed up, you are done. Just place it on your pumpkin and admire. Don't you think both of these pumpkin projects are so cute? And again, I think this pumpkin macrame cover could totally be repurposed and used throughout the year in your home on a bottleneck or something like that. Both of these projects are very simple and easy, both beginner friendly, and I think that you could get each project done in under an hour each. So not super time consuming. All in all, I think these are great ways to maybe spend a cozy afternoon and make something pretty to go in your home. As always, I hope you enjoyed. If you like this type of content, I hope you'll consider subscribing for more videos like this. Be sure to like this video if you did. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And maybe go find me on Instagram. Don't forget we have a website. So I hope you'll go check us out if you're new here. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.